I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning every single day. And if you had told me this 3-4 years ago before I started, I would have told you that that is crazy and stupid and I would never do that. But since I've started, I've been able to get so much done and I absolutely love it. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly why I get up so early and why you too should try getting up earlier. So let's get started now. Welcome back to Web Dev Simplified. My name's Kyle, and my job is to simplify the web for you, and occasionally I like to make videos like this, which are focused on improving your entire life and not just your programming skills. So if that interests you, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. And now, as I mentioned, I do get up at 5 in the morning, and already some of you have probably already ran for the hills thinking, I'm a night owl, I can't possibly get up that early, that is ridiculous, I go to bed at 5, I don't get up at 5. And for those people out there, the people that are skeptical thinking you're a night owl, I used to think the exact same thing. When I was in college, I went to bed at 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, even sometimes 5 o'clock in the morning. I was going to bed back then at the same time I get up now, which is crazy to think about. And I thought everything was fine. I just thought I was a night owl because I naturally stayed up late. I woke up late. I'd wake up 9, 10, 11 o'clock sometimes, depending on how late I stayed up. And I never thought I could possibly get up early. I know when I had 8 a.m. classes in college or 7:30 a.m. classes, I struggled. I was always late. Sometimes I didn't make it. I would fall asleep in class. It was bad. I just thought I was destined to always be a night owl, and I would always be staying up later than everyone and getting up later than everyone. But then I realized that the time that I spend doing activities later in the evening almost always was not very productive. After it became about 10, 11 o'clock, that time until I went to bed was usually filled with things like watching TV, watching movies, playing games, doing things that don't really improve my life in any way. I wasn't going to the gym during those hours. I wasn't improving my web development skills. So most of the time, I was just working on meaningless entertainment activities, which is fine, but I was spending a large amount of time doing those things since I would stay up so late. So I realized that I was much more productive in the morning hours for the most part, up until, that 11 o'clock time. Now granted, there were plenty of times in college where I would stay up late working on studying programming or studying whatever I needed to do for classes, and I was really productive during those hours because most people were asleep at 1 in the morning, so I was able to just laser focus, get things done, and that worked sometimes. But my willpower was always very low at that time of the day, and the only reason I would be up so late is if I had a test the next day or a homework assignment due the next day and I had to get it done. Otherwise, I was going to be doing something enjoyable and I wasn't going to be working on something productive. And I realized that if I just cut that time out of my life, if I go to bed at 10 instead of going to bed at 3, I just cut 5 hours out that are essentially full of meaningless tasks. I may do like 30 minutes of productive activity, but for the most part, that time is useless. And if I then shift that time to the beginning of my day, so I get up those extra 4 or 5 hours earlier, then I have an extra 5 hours of productive time that I'm able to get things done, study web development, I'm able to go to the gym, play the guitar, whatever it is that I want to do, I can do those things and I have the willpower to do them. When I first started getting up early at 5 a.m., it was terrible. It sucked. I hated it. I felt tired. My body just wasn't adjusted. But when I would go to the gym 5:30 in the morning, it felt great. I never felt like skipping. I didn't feel like I was just lazy, didn't want to go. I was always super energized and ready to go. And for me, that's the power of your willpower being so strong in the mornings because you haven't used it up during the day. And by the end of the day, you're going to be out of willpower and not as likely to go to the gym, study the web development, or do what you want to do. Now, I did say that it really sucked getting up that early the first few times that I did it. Even the first whole couple weeks up to the whole first month was really painful. It was really difficult to convince myself to get up so early and especially to go to bed so early since I just wasn't used to going to bed at 10 o'clock, since I was used to starting my day at 10 instead of ending it. And you maybe have tried this since you're watching this video. You maybe have tried getting up earlier and you really hated it and you kind of quit after a week or two. But really, it takes a full 3, 4, even maybe 5 weeks for your body to shift and adjust, especially if you stayed up as late as I did, so that your body can adjust to getting up at this earlier time. But if you go to bed consistently at the same time and get up consistently at the same time, and you have enough hours of sleep in that time, you're going to find that it's incredibly easy to shift from a night owl perspective to becoming a morning person. It's really not that difficult. You may think that you're wired to go one way or the other, and there may be some wiring one way or the other, but I find for me, I can switch between the two fairly easily, and being a morning person is so much more productive for me than being a night owl. So if you have tried it and it's failed before, I highly recommend giving it a shot and going at least a month, getting up at the exact same time every day, and going to bed at the same time every single day. And that includes weekends. I know a lot of people that do this, they get up at 5 during the week, and then they, get up at 9, 10 o'clock on the weekends, because it's the weekends. You're supposed to stay up late, go out, have fun, and I understand the desire to do that. But when you shift your waking time and bedtime so much on the weekends, it kind of undoes all that hard work, and it's going to take you way longer than just a week, 2, 3, 4 to adjust your body. You may even never adjust, since you spend so much time flipping between early mornings and late nights. So on the weekends, I'll usually go to bed a little bit later to hang out with friends, do whatever I want, and I'll get up a little bit later, but I try not to get up any later than an hour and a half after 5. So 6:30 is the latest that I try to get up, unless I absolutely need to sleep later. And the reason for that is if I sleep too much later than 6:30, it really throws me off for getting back into the groove of waking up at 5 a.m., just because my body is adjusting away from that 5 a.m. time. Now, if you've made it this far into the video, you're probably at least interested in getting up at 5 in the morning, and you're really curious about what all the major benefits are. You maybe have heard about it in other places. And what I can tell you the biggest benefit is that huge pile of willpower that you have at the beginning of the day. You just have so much more willpower than you do at the end of the day after a long day of work. So if you want to get something productive done, like going to the gym, learning to play an instrument, maybe starting your own business, taking a few hours in the morning, 2-3 hours before you go to work in the morning to work on your gym, to work on your musical instrument, to work on your business, you're going to get a ton done. You're going to get twice as much, at least, done in those 2 hours than you would get in 4 hours after work. I promise you, it's amazing how much more you can get done at the beginning of the day as opposed to the end of the day. The other big reason for this is also a benefit for staying up really late that I found in college, is that most people are asleep. There's no notifications on your phone, no one's calling you, no one's texting you, no one's walking around your house. It's completely silent, and you're able to 100% focus on what you're trying to get done. That was why I would study late in the night. I usually didn't start studying until about 12 in college, 11 o'clock, because most people were going to bed, and I knew I could get laser focused on what I wanted to do, and no one could bother me. But the problem, like I said, is my willpower was depleted, so I had a hard time convincing myself to study that late at night. But if I switch to the morning, like I have that strong willpower, but I have the same benefits of complete peace and quiet, no one to bother me, no distractions, and I can get tons of focused work done, and it is absolutely amazing. Another great benefit of getting up so early is that your day ends so much earlier than most people. If I get up at 5, my day is usually over by 3 o'clock or so for working, which means that I can actually enjoy the sunlight and the outdoors and the nice weather, especially during the winter time when the sunlight is almost always setting around 4:30, 5 o'clock. If I get done with my day at 3, I at least have a good hour, maybe 2 hours of time that I can spend out enjoying the sun, enjoying the weather, while most people don't get done with work till after 5, so they really get no enjoyment out of the nice sunlight and the nice weather. So that to me is one of my favorite things about getting up so early, is after I'm done with work, I can go on a walk and enjoy the nice weather, if it's warm enough outside, or at least just be able to be out in the sunlight for the day. Because if you're constantly getting up later, getting done with work later, it feels like you never see the sun, and it's really demoralizing. It really takes a hit on your emotions. So having that ability, I think, is one of the most underrated reasons for getting up so early. If you're still skeptical of getting up so early, take a look at this YouTube channel as an example of what can be done with getting up so early. I know if I didn't get up at 5 every morning, I would have no energy to create these videos. I wouldn't have the willpower to make 2 videos a week, to write a blog article each week, even to create the courses that I do. I just would not be able to do it. And because I do get up at 5 in the morning, I have that extra time with my high willpower that I can spend super focused on making these videos, even though I have a full-time job that I work on top of doing YouTube. I also like to go to the gym, and I can do that right early in the morning when my willpower is the highest, because that is the thing that I will most likely skip if I don't have the willpower. It is really bad of me. And with that said, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my other similar videos linked over here, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.